Hi, and welcome back to another video of the basic JavaScript course for beginners. In today's video, we're going to learn about non-primitive data types in JavaScript. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So if you have ever watched the previous lesson, we've talked about primitive data types in JavaScript, and we've said that there are basically 6 basic types in JavaScript. And we've seen also that a primitive variable can contain only one single value at a time. Now, on the other hand, there are what we call non-primitive data types, or sometimes called reference types. These kind of types do not store single values, they instead store a reference to a collection of data that is located somewhere in the machine memory. In JavaScript, this collection of data are often called objects. Each piece of data within a collection is represented by a key value pair, where a key refers to the property name, and value can be of any type of data, whether primitive or non-primitive. Besides normal objects, there are plenty of other kinds of objects in JavaScript, like for example arrays, functions, dates, and many others. I will provide you with a link to an exhaustive list of JavaScript objects that you can find in the description below. Now, for the sake of simplicity and because this series is for beginners, in this video we will deal only with arrays and normal objects. Okay, now enough theorizing, let's jump into the code editor for more practical stuff. The first thing that we are going to deal with is normal objects, and we will see how to create an object and how to access a property within that, or property value within that object. Let's create an object, person, which is gonna be an empty object. So as you can see, to create an object we have to use the curly brackets. Now, just to check the type of this variable, let's say type of person. Okay, let's save and refresh the page. As you can see, we are getting object, which is the type of the variable person. Now, let's say that we want to populate that object with some data. There are 2 ways to do that. The first way is to insert our properties directly inside the, or between the curly brackets, like in this way. Let's say that we've got a property nickname, which is going to have random, and let's say a level, which is going to be or number 1. Okay, the level 1. Now let's console log our variable person just to see. We've got, okay, we have to use the comma instead of the, instead of the semicolon. Okay, now let's say refresh the page, and as you can see, guys, here we have our object that is populated with 2 properties, which are nickname and level. Okay, now let's move to the second way of populating that object. The second way is by doing so, using the dot and followed by the property name that we are going to assign to it a value like random, and in the same way, person level, and we are going to assign to it the value 1. Now if we console log again, let's first delete the, if we console log the person variable, we are expecting to have the same result as the first method. As you can see, we are having our object person, which has nickname and level as properties. Now let's say that we want to access one of these properties, or access to the value to one of these properties. Okay, there are 2 ways to do that. The First way is by doing so console log, just put the object name or the variable name, followed by a dot, followed by the name of the property that we want to display, like in this way, or that we want to access. If we save then refresh the page, as you can see we are getting random, which is the value of the property nickname. Now the second way to display or to access a property value is just by using the name of the variable, then using the square brackets and the name of the property within it. Okay, I forgot to console log person nickname. Now let's save, then refresh the page, and as you can see we are still getting the value of nickname, which is random, at the line number 8. Now let's talk about arrays in JavaScript. Arrays are basically used to store multiple values in one single variable. Now let's assume that we have a list of colors that we want to store. So what we can do is create our variable colors, which is going to be an array of colors. So to represent arrays in JavaScript, we have to use, or we can use the brackets or the square brackets, then assign to it the multiple value that we want. In this case, it's going to be our list of colors. Say white, then red, and then yellow. So now if you remember that we said at the beginning that arrays are nothing more than objects. So if we want to check this, we can console log the type of our variable colors, which is an array, save and refresh. As you can see, we are getting objects, which is the type of arrays. So arrays are basically objects in JavaScript. Now let's say that we want to access a value within that array. Let's say that we want to access the variable or the value white. Notice that in an array values are indexed, so which means that the first element within an array is going to have the index 0, and the second element is going to have the index 1, the third element is going to have the index 2, and so on. Now if we want to access the value white, we can do like this: console log the name of our array, then using the square brackets, and then the index element that we want to access to. In our case here, because it's white, so the index is going to be 1. Let's save, then check. As you can see, we are getting the value white, which is the element at the index number 1. Let's say that we want to access now the last element. What we can do is this: we can use colors dot length, which represents the length of our array, which is 4 because it has 4 elements, minus 1. Minus 1. As the array starts by 0, so this is going to be number 3, or the index number 3. So when we use the color length or the length of the array to access the last element, we have to subtract 1 from the length of the array to get 3. Now let's refresh and see. As you can see, we are getting yellow, which is the last element in our array. One more last thing, just to be enough sure that you have learned something from this video, I want you to do the following task. You can pause the video here if you want to read the task at your own pace. Here we are at the end of this video. Make sure to use the comment section below if you have any questions. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next lesson.